Tomorrow, lawmakers will gather in Annapolis for a special session to elect a new Speaker of the House. Fox 45's Mackenzie Frost breaks down how the Speaker vote is not the only issue on the agenda.
The General Assembly will gather in Annapolis Tuesday at noon for the start of this special session, but it won't just be the election of a new speaker that's on the agenda. Several votes are expected to be to override some of Governor Wes Moore's vetoes that he issued earlier in the year, and we could see a veto override on that controversial study for reparations. Officially electing a new Speaker of the House of Delegates, replacing Adrian Jones, is the main reason lawmakers will make an early trek to Annapolis December 16th for a special session. But it likely won't be their only task.
It is a big priority of the Legislative Black Caucus.
It'll be open season for lawmakers to overturn a slew of Governor Wes Moore's vetoes from this last legislative session, including the possibility of reversing the governor's veto on the controversial study on reparations.
And the thing is, I think he vetoed it, as I said before, because of the fact he was looking at 2028 politics and how people will look at that, especially Republicans, using it as something to attack him on.
However, when Moore vetoed the bill, he said, now is not the time for another study. Now is the time for continued action. The Legislative Black Caucus at the time said the legislature will have the final say. But not everyone at Annapolis believes the study should move forward.
We don't have the money to be exploring these options right now, period.
Last year, with more than a $3 billion budget hole, Republican Senator Justin Reedy argued the state did not have the money for reparations. And now the budget deficit is projected to be nearly $1.5 billion.
I question whether using taxpayer money would ever be appropriate in this context. Even going back to when reparations were paid to survivors of the Holocaust, they went after companies, that were involved, not after taxpayers.
Political analyst John Deedy says if the General Assembly is successful in overriding the governor's veto on the reparations study,
what he should say is nothing.
We'll see you in January.
But that's not the only issue that could come up Tuesday. A study on data centers could emerge again as well. The governor vetoed the plan that would have studied the impact of data centers on Maryland's economy, environment, and energy grid. The study carries a roughly $500,000 price tag, but as the interest of data centers explodes, the potential impact is growing more important too.
And I think the governor needs to address that a lot better, especially during session, and not address it by saying, let's send everyone a check.
The Renew Act is another bill that may come up Tuesday. Friday, Governor Moore announced he's releasing $500,000 to study the cost of climate change in Maryland. While vetoing Renew, Moore cited funding concerns with another study. But now, funding this climate change study will come from the Rockefeller Family Fund and the state's Strategic Energy Investment Fund.
The climate activists may have their own agenda, but the problem is for the next 3 months, people are going to get their BG&E bills, and they're going to go skyrocket because it's so cold outside. And people want a solution to that problem.
It's not clear if the governor's last-minute funding announcement will be enough to stave off a veto override for the Renew Act, but reparations and data centers will likely come up on the floor of the House and Senate Tuesday during the special session. All while 77% of Marylanders say the high cost of health care should be a priority for state government, followed by the quality of K-12 education and reducing crime and improving public safety. That's according to a new poll from the University of Maryland, Baltimore County. Those issues will seemingly have to wait until January when the regular 90-day session begins. I reached out to Governor Moore's office to see if we could get a comment on the potential for these votes to override his vetoes, but we did not hear back. In the newsroom, Mackenzie Frost, Fox 45 News.
I'm Mary Bubala. Thank you for watching. Here's another video for you to watch. Also take some time to subscribe to our YouTube channel.